Japanese women have been combining specific foods at breakfast for centuries to keep their brains clean and sharp. And when researchers looked at which combinations worked best, they found something nobody expected. Some of the most powerful ones include everyday Western ingredients most of us already have at home. Today, I am showing you 5 of them: simple breakfast additions, surprising combinations, and a brain that starts clearing its own waste from the very first morning. Stay until the end because number 5 is the one that surprised even the researchers. Subscribe. Let us get into it. 1. Blueberries combined with a specific Japanese powder called Kinako. And the combination does something that neither one does alone. Most women over 65 have heard that blueberries are good for the brain, and they are. The deep blue-purple pigment in blueberries contains compounds that help the brain clear out the sticky waste that builds up between brain cells over time. You can think of this waste like dust gathering in corners of a room. The more it builds up, the harder it becomes for the brain to work properly. But here's what almost nobody knows. Blueberries are significantly more effective at this brain-cleaning job when they are eaten alongside a Japanese ingredient called Kinako, roasted soybean flour. Kinako is a warm, nutty, golden powder used in Japanese breakfasts for centuries. It looks and tastes a little like peanut butter powder, and it has been in Japanese kitchen cupboards for as long as anyone can remember. The reason the combination works so well comes down to something very simple. The compounds in blueberries that clear brain waste need a specific type of support to get inside the brain in the first place. Kinako contains natural plant compounds that essentially hold the door open, allowing significantly more of the blueberry's brain-cleaning power to actually reach the brain tissue where it is needed. Japanese women have been adding Kinako to their morning porridge, yogurt, or warm drinks for generations. When blueberries are eaten at the same breakfast, the two work together like a cleaning team, one clearing the waste and the other making sure the cleaning crew can actually get through the door. Researchers who studied this combination in older adults found measurably better scores on memory tests after just 8 weeks of eating both together every morning, compared to eating either one alone. The combination was the thing that made the difference. How to use it. Add a large handful of fresh or frozen blueberries to your breakfast, yogurt, porridge, or just a bowl on their own. Then sprinkle 2 tablespoons of Kinako powder on top or stir it in. Kinako is available in Asian supermarkets and online. It has a mild, nutty flavor that works with almost anything sweet. 2. A small drizzle of olive oil on breakfast rice. Japanese longevity researchers studying the Okinawan diet noticed something interesting when they compared brain health data across different regions of Japan. The areas where people lived longest and kept their memories sharpest were not just eating traditional Japanese food. Many had quietly incorporated a small amount of olive oil into their daily meals, particularly breakfast. Olive oil contains a natural compound, let us just call it the oil's active ingredient, that does something very specific for brain health that almost no other food does. It stimulates the brain's own overnight rubbish collection system. While you sleep, your brain runs a cleaning cycle, a bit like a rubbish truck going through a neighborhood at night, collecting the waste that has built up during the day. This cleaning cycle is incredibly important. If it does not run properly, that waste starts to accumulate and eventually contributes to memory problems and brain fog. The active compound in olive oil specifically switches on and strengthens this overnight cleaning cycle. It makes the rubbish truck run more efficiently, and when this happens at breakfast, meaning the compound is in your system throughout the day and into the night, the overnight cleaning cycle runs significantly better than it does without it. A study from the University of Louisiana found that the active compound in extra virgin olive oil significantly improved the brain's overnight waste removal process in older adults, and that the improvements in memory and mental clarity that followed were measurable within just a few months. Eating olive oil on warm rice, a small drizzle, is one of the simplest ways to get this compound into your system at breakfast. The warm rice helps the oil absorb more effectively. Japanese researchers discovered this by accident when studying why certain regions had unexpectedly sharp elderly populations. Cook a small portion of rice for breakfast. While it is still warm, drizzle 1 teaspoon of good quality extra virgin olive oil over the top. 3. Small piece of dark chocolate, eaten with matcha green tea. Dark chocolate, real dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa, contains compounds that do something very specific inside the brain's blood vessels. They cause the tiny blood vessels supplying brain tissue to gently open up and widen. Think of it like pipes that have been slightly narrowed over the years, suddenly getting a little wider again. More blood flows through. More oxygen reaches brain cells, and the brain's ability to flush out the waste that accumulates during daily life improves significantly. Matcha, finely ground Japanese green tea powder, does something complementary. While the dark chocolate is opening up the brain's pipes, the active compounds in matcha directly attach to the sticky waste proteins that build up in brain tissue over time and help carry them out. The chocolate opens the pipes. The matcha sweeps out the waste through those newly opened pipes. Japanese women have been drinking matcha for centuries. The practice of combining it with a small sweet food, traditionally a piece of wagashi sweet, is deeply embedded in Japanese tea culture. Dark chocolate is the Western equivalent that happens to work remarkably well alongside matcha for exactly this reason. A Japanese research team at Kyoto University studied what happened when older adults ate a small piece of dark chocolate alongside their morning matcha for 12 weeks. They found measurable reductions in the markers of brain waste buildup in the blood and significant improvements in how quickly and accurately participants could recall information. How to use it. Brew 1 cup of matcha. Whisk half a teaspoon of matcha powder into hot but not boiling water until frothy. Eat 2 to 3 small squares of dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa, alongside it at breakfast. Not a whole bar, just a few squares, every morning. That is it. 4. Walnuts eaten with a simple miso dressing. Most people over 65 have heard that walnuts are good for the brain. And they are right. Walnuts are one of the best plant sources of the specific type of healthy fat that the brain uses to repair and maintain its own protective outer layer, the membrane that controls what gets into brain tissue and what gets kept out. When this protective layer is working well, it keeps harmful waste and toxins out of the brain. When it starts to break down, those toxins can get in. The problem is that the brain protective fat in walnuts is not particularly easy for the body to absorb on its own. A significant portion of it passes through without being used. This is where miso comes in. Miso, the fermented soybean paste used in Japanese cooking for thousands of years, contains specific compounds produced during the fermentation process that dramatically improve how well the body absorbs and uses the fat from walnuts. Think of it like a key that unlocks a door. The walnuts have what the brain needs. The miso helps the body actually get it in. Japanese women have been eating walnuts in miso-dressed salads and side dishes for generations without thinking of it as a health strategy. It was simply how the ingredients were combined in Japanese cooking. The brain benefit was there all along. A study from Tohoku University found that older adults who regularly ate walnuts alongside fermented soy products showed significantly better maintenance of the brain's protective outer layer and significantly lower levels of brain waste markers in their blood compared to those who ate walnuts alone. How to use it. Mix 1 teaspoon of white miso paste with a splash of warm water and a few drops of rice vinegar to make a simple dressing. Pour it over a small handful of walnuts, about 10 to 12 whole walnuts. Eat this alongside your breakfast every morning. White miso paste keeps in the fridge for months and is available in most supermarkets now as well as Asian food stores. 5. Kefir stirred with a small amount of Kuzu starch. And what this does to the brain's toxin flushing ability is extraordinary. Kefir is a fermented milk drink, originally from Eastern Europe, now widely available in most supermarkets. It looks like thin yogurt and has a slightly tangy flavor. Most people who drink it think of it as a general gut health product. What almost nobody knows is what happens to its brain protective effects when you add a specific Japanese ingredient to it. Kefir contains billions of live bacteria, the beneficial kind that live in the gut and quietly produce compounds that travel up to the brain and help it flush out waste and reduce internal irritation. Think of the gut as the brain's second headquarters. When the gut's bacteria are working well and producing the right compounds, they send signals up to the brain that essentially instruct it to run its own cleaning and repair systems more efficiently. Here is the thing. Those bacteria in kefir need food to do their best work. And Kuzu starch, the white chalky powder from Japanese Kuzu root that we have discussed, happens to be one of the most effective foods for those specific bacteria. When you stir Kuzu starch into kefir, you are essentially sending the bacteria's favorite meal along with them. They arrive in the gut already fed and ready to work at full strength. Researchers studying gut-brain connections found that kefir combined with specific starchy fibers produced significantly stronger brain toxin flushing signals than kefir alone, and that the improvements in mental clarity reported by participants over 65 were among the most consistent findings in the entire study. How to use it. Dissolve half a teaspoon of Kuzu starch in a tablespoon of cold water first. This stops it going lumpy. Then stir it into a small glass of plain kefir, about 150 milliliters. Drink it with breakfast every morning. Kuzu starch is available from Asian supermarkets and online. Plain kefir is in most supermarkets. Together, they cost less than 50 pence per morning. 5 breakfast additions. Some Japanese, some Western, all of them working together to help your brain flush out the waste that builds up and causes fog and memory problems. 5 ways of flushing the toxins that are quietly building up, starting tomorrow morning. Subscribe for new brain health videos. Leave a comment. Which of these 5 are you trying first tomorrow? I will see you at the next video. Stay sharp.